Hello there, croeso and welcome. I'm Shadow Lummox and I'm back here on Wreckfest to do this week's weekly challenge for the solo tournament. But as you just seen there, I'm using a wheel for this one. Got my hands on a Logitech G29 and I decided to do one of the daily challenges just to get my bearings, see how difficult things will be. I suspect that this is not going to be a game that's really suited towards using a steering wheel, and well, I was proven quite right. It's quite tricky, especially in the snow. Probably not doing myself any favours in trying to do this in the snow right off the bat. It seems as I'm not that good at driving in the snow anyway, and it did prove to be very difficult. I've actually borrowed it off the wheel itself off my friend who's not using it at the moment, and one of the provisions was that I do a video where I try to do the weekly challenge using the wheel. So here we are. It is a winter race and it's a points race, so basically just score as high a score as possible by doing the course as fast as possible, get a bonus multiplier every time you gain a position, and it can go up to ×5, but I have a lot of trouble. It took me quite a while to get used to driving with the wheel, and the phrase "Bambi on ice" springs to mind as I was doing this. It's really easy to fight the wheel too much, just causing yourself all manners of problems. But having more control over the throttle does help a little bit. But as I said, this is not a game that seems suited to using a sim wheel, even if it is more of an entry-level one, which is what I'm using. It still proved to be very difficult, but I have managed to set a score good enough to get gold using the wheel. As I said, if you are using a wheel and you're thinking about trying it, don't fight the force feedback too much. Let it take you where the car wants to take you. Be gentle on the throttle. There's very few places where I'm actually going flat out full speed, but I did find doing the braking with my feet gave me a lot more control than when I was using the triggers. I tend to have a lot of problem in the snow on Wreckfest slowing myself down for corners, and I did actually find it a lot easier using the steering wheel and pedal setup. I just found pretty much everything else a lot more difficult. Be ready to abuse the reset function. I did not want to waste my time trying to get myself into reverse to get myself out of certain situations. More than happy just to spam triangle and get myself reset and pointed in the right direction. Thankfully though, because this is the solo challenge, the solo tournament, it means I don't have to compete with the rest of the community when I'm setting my score, which helped me a lot. I seriously doubt I ever would have been able to get gold if it was a community type of challenge as they used to be. Thankfully, the developer score that's been set as your target is quite, I don't want to say easily achievable. It took me quite a few goes just to even get gold. And the silly thing is, I know from previous attempts of doing this challenge with a controller, even as I go on about it quite a lot, even though the fact that I suck quite a lot when it comes to driving in the snow, I can easily get a score between 200 and 300,000. And then with the wheel, I found myself struggling just to get gold, but I do achieve it. You only got 3 laps. As I said, I don't really ever get to the front, so don't worry about that too much. You can see that you don't have to be anywhere near perfect to get gold in this challenge. And it will probably be the last challenge I try and do using the steering wheel. I only borrowed it so I could play games like Gran Turismo 7, Assetto Corsa Competition, which would be ideally suited to that sort of setup. This game though, well, it's quite telling if you see other YouTubers, other content creators with a camera, they're almost always using a controller, and it becomes plainly obvious to see why. It's just a lot of effort. This was my very first run, just scraping bronze in quite a dismal fashion, and now you're going to just see plenty of clips of me just spinning out all of my own accord. Very easy to do, but very amusing as well. So hopefully the aforementioned friend who I've borrowed this steering wheel from, hope he gets great amusement watching me struggle doing this challenge, and I hope some of you have got some tips about how to go about doing this challenge. So I'll just leave you with a few more of these shots of me just having an absolute horrible time. And I just want to say diolch and thank you for watching.